Imagine this. You're in the middle of your adult life. Career's working, marriage, mostly functioning. The past is something you outgrew. Then the phone rings. You hear a voice you haven't heard since you were 11, and the moment it says the word Derry, your hand starts to shake, your nose starts to bleed, and a memory you don't quite have yet whispers, "Hiya, Georgie." That's not just a creepy moment in it. That's the bomb Stephen King drops in pages 70 to 150. 6 phone calls that rip open 27 years of denial and wake a monster that never really went back to sleep. Today, on Deadlights and Ink, we're diving into Chapter 3, 6 phone calls, the part of the book most people rush past to get back to the clown, but it's where the real horror starts. Because this is the chapter where we learn they didn't just leave Derry, they left a promise behind, and it has been waiting. Stay with me till the end, because once we walk through each call, Stan's bathtub, and Bill's final decision, you'll never look at "we should totally catch up sometime" the same way again. We're in 1985. Adrian Mellon's murder has already happened. The police think it's a hate crime. Mike Hanlon, now Derry's librarian, knows better. He's seen this pattern before. A spike in violence, kids disappearing, the town shrugging it off like it's just Derry. Mike goes back through old newspapers, old stories, old scars. The math lines up to something he's been secretly dreading. Every 27 years, the killings come back. So Mike does the one thing he and his friends swore they would do if this ever happened again. He starts dialing. And King does something genius here. Each phone call is 2 stories at once. We see who the losers became and what they can't escape. We cut to Los Angeles, neon, billboards, an over-caffeinated radio DJ screaming voices into a microphone. That's Richie now. Richie Records Tozier, fast-talking, successful, hiding his anxiety behind a wall of jokes and character voices. He's mid-broadcast when the call comes through. The producer flags him. It's some guy named Mike from Maine? Richie picks up, ready with a sarcastic bit. But as soon as Mike says, "Remember Derry?" his body betrays him. The jokes die. The room tilts. There's this instant, bone-deep terror, and he doesn't even know why. His memory is Swiss cheese. He just knows one thing. If Mike Hanlon is calling, something is very, very wrong. Richie says yes. He'll come. He hangs up and vomits. That's the pattern King uses over and over. Show us the polished adult life. Drop the word Derry. Watch everything crack. Next, we're in suburban Georgia. Golf clubs, neatly pressed clothes, a life built like a spreadsheet. Clean rows, tidy columns, no surprises. Stan Uris is a successful accountant now. The kid who once insisted on rules and order has made his whole life into one giant balancing sheet. His wife answers the phone. "Stan, it's someone from Maine." When he hears Mike's voice, there's that same shock, that same almost recognition. But Stan is different from Richie. Richie reacts with panic. Stan reacts with clarity. Mike doesn't even have to finish the sentence. He just says, "It's happening again." And Stan says, very quietly, "I can't come, Mike." What King does next is brutal and understated. We don't get screams. We don't get jump scares. We get Stan going upstairs, running a bath, laying out his razor blades carefully, the way an accountant balances a ledger. He leaves a single word written on the wall in his own blood. It. From a story perspective, this is the inciting incident for the whole adult timeline. It tells you, this isn't just about a killer clown. Whatever they faced as kids was so bad, one of them would rather die than face it again. If you're watching this video right now, this is your first big "don't click away" moment. Because Stan's choice raises a question the rest of the book has to answer. What happened in Derry that was worse than death? Cut to New York City. A limo company office. Phones ringing, drivers shouting. Eddie Kaspbrak, once the asthma kid, now runs the whole operation. On paper, He's a success. In reality, he's still living in the shadow of his mother, just recast as his wife, Myra. She fusses over his health, his diet, his inhalers. She has weaponized worry into control. Mike's call slices through that. When Eddie hears the word Derry, his childhood crashes back in fragments. Blood on the bathroom floor, a leper under a house, the feeling of running with other kids who actually liked him. He drops the phone. His asthma, which hasn't been a real medical issue in years, suddenly flares up. He reaches for his inhaler out of pure muscle memory. And here's the twisted part. He still says yes. Even as his body screams no, Eddie books a flight. Because buried under all the fear is something else. Those 6 kids were the only time he ever felt brave. Now we're in Chicago. High-end fashion studio. Sketches, fabric, cigarettes, and crystal ashtrays. Beverly Marsh has reinvented herself as a successful designer. But she's also married to Tom Rogan, a man who hurts her in ways that feel disturbingly familiar. Same temper, same need for control, same rage that her father had when she was a kid. When Mike calls, she's literally in the middle of being yelled at. Tom is tearing into her over something trivial. Beverly picks up the phone like it's oxygen. The moment Mike says his name, she freezes. It's like the room goes distant. She doesn't remember the specifics yet, but she remembers. The taste of fear, the smell of blood in the bathroom, the sense that something under Derry was always watching. Tom tries to stop her from leaving. And this is where King mirrors her childhood. As a kid, Bev had to stand up to one abusive man to go fight it. As an adult, she has to do it again. So when she finally fights back, when she hits Tom and walks out, it isn't just a domestic argument. It's Beverly breaking one of Derry's oldest curses, the curse that says you never escape the way you were hurt as a kid. Next, we're with Ben Hanscom. He's no longer the lonely fat kid in the library. He's a thin, renowned architect, living a wealthy but isolated life far from Maine. In the boardroom, he's confident. On a plane, he's restless. In his own head, he's still the boy who carved a love poem on a postcard. When Mike calls, Ben's reaction is one of the most quietly heartbreaking. He realizes that every building he's ever designed, from shopping malls to skyscrapers, has been an unconscious attempt to rebuild the Barrens, the one place he ever felt safe. The second he hears Derry, that pattern snaps into focus. He agrees to come back. Not because he wants to face it, but because part of him has been trying to get home for 27 years without even knowing it. Finally, we land on a film set in England. Bill Denbrough is now a best-selling horror novelist, consulting on a movie adaptation of one of his books. His wife, Audra, is the star. He has turned his trauma into stories. He writes about monsters, without remembering the real one. When Mike calls, something in Bill stutters before his mouth does. Bill has almost entirely repressed Georgie's death. He remembers the headline, the funeral, the grief, but not the feeling that something in the drain smiled at him. Mike doesn't give him that luxury anymore. It started again, Big Bill. And Bill realizes in a single gut punch moment. He didn't just lose his brother, he left the killer alive. That's the emotional core of this whole section. Guilt hits Bill harder than any jump scare. He could hang up. He has every excuse, a career, a wife, a life on another continent. Instead, he tells Audra he has to go. He doesn't even fully know why yet. He just knows that somewhere, in a town that has been erasing him from his own memory, a promise is coming due. By the time the phones go quiet, here's what it has done in just 80 pages or so. Ripped 6 adults out of carefully constructed lives. Turned success stories into trauma stories. Killed one of the 7 losers before they've even had a chance to reunite. And notice, we still haven't seen the clown again. That's on purpose. Chapter 3 is Stephen King proving a point. The real horror isn't the jump scare. It's the way trauma echoes through your adult life, even when you can't name it. Richie's jokes, Eddie's illnesses, Beverly's relationships, Ben's architecture, Stan's need for order, Bill's career as a horror writer, all of it is Derry-shaped. And those 6 phone calls are the moment the shape finally pops into focus. So when you go back to it knowing all this, Chapter 3 stops being the boring adult part and becomes the engine of the story. It's the inciting incident that drags the plot from 1958 into 1985. It turns a killer clown into a story about memory, guilt, and the cost of looking away. And it sets up a terrifying question for the rest of the book. If it never forgot them, what else has it been doing while they tried to forget it? If you want to keep peeling back the layers of it, not just the clown, but the town, the trauma, and the way King weaponizes nostalgia, hit subscribe to Deadlights and Ink, drop a comment telling me which phone call hit you the hardest, and share this with the one friend who swears the movie was enough. Because for Derry, and for the losers, this was never just about one summer. It was about the moment the phone rang and childhood called back with a debt.